Hi, Carol. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to interview you.
Hello, Nizam. It's a pleasure after all our emails back and forth to finally connect.
Yes, yes. And friends, here is Carol Look, who doesn't need much introduction, who is well known in the field of EFT. Yet, I would like to give some more introduction about Carol Look. She is one of the EFT founding masters, and Carol Look is an author, speaker, coach, and has been a pioneer in the energy psychology field for over 20 years. Oh my God, 2 decades. Creator of her signature coaching method, the Yes Code, about which we'll be knowing more from Carol herself directly. And Carol is internationally known as a dynamic workshop leader and is passionate about combining her intuition with tapping innovations to guide her clients to enjoy outstanding results in their lives. Carol's books include Attracting Abundance with EFT and Tapping for Stress Relief. Friends, to know more about this is nothing. There is a huge list of products for wide variety of requirements, weight loss, law of attraction, so many things. So please do visit carollook.com. CAROLLOOK.com. So it's not single L, it's double L, Carol Look EFT. Um, you can just go to Google or just type Carol Look EFT, it will redirect you to our website. So, Carol, once again, I had to literally tap, oh my God, like Carol is in front of me. So, Carol, how did you get into EFT?
Well, it's so interesting. So I'm a traditional psychotherapist. So I graduated with a master's degree in social work to become a psychotherapist. And then I got a doctoral degree in hypnotherapy because I
Oh,
loved hypnosis and I loved what it did in the left brain and the right brain, and combining all that knowledge was wonderful. But I wasn't a great hypnotist. I was good enough, but I wasn't totally involved in it. So then someone in my hypnosis class said, "You think that's fun? You ought to try this weird new thing called tapping, called EFT." And that was in 1997. So I took my first course, got all the videos from Gary, got trained, and then became one of the founding EFT masters. And I'm about results. I'm quite impatient, Nizam. I'm quite impatient. I don't want people to suffer. I didn't want to suffer. And I wanted to be able to help people with long-term problems in a short amount of time. And I wanted to give them tools so they could go home and do things and not be dependent on me as a psychotherapist. So EFT, the tapping, just checked a lot of boxes, and the results were spectacular, even when I was a total beginner. And when I was a total beginner, I got results that didn't scare me, but they were like, "Whoa, what is this? This is quite impressive," when I didn't know what I was doing. So then, as you can imagine, I think it's been 22 years now.
oh my
22 years of using tapping as my primary tool to help people get relief has just been invigorating and exciting and so inspiring for me.
God. So, Carol, usually, like, a lot of psychotherapists, psychologists, their logical mind comes into the picture. We have done so much. We are already using CBT, REBT, then this, a whole lot of things. But for a psychotherapist, a qualified psychotherapist, some people call themselves as therapist, but not. Here is a qualified psychotherapist totally shifting into EFT. So, what made you to believe in EFT?
Well, it wasn't a belief system. I'm a very left brain logical person. I have a strong right
Okay,
brain, but
okay,
it wasn't a belief system. It's because I kept getting these wild results with
wow,
and cravings and anxiety and phobias. And the research, as you probably know, the research came later. So Gary Craig, who started TAP, started EFT, he would say, "Oh, we're going to get so many results that it doesn't matter about research." Well, it did, because the field really cares about research, but Gary didn't, and that's okay. He was getting results. And what we know now about EFT is that it's never been a belief system. It calms down the fight, flight, freeze response in the brain. So it completely calms your stress reaction, which we can't control. We can't control our stress reaction without some intervention to the brain, right? So while we're tapping on these points, it calms us down. So whether you have a fear of heights, whether you have intense sugar cravings, whether you have a memory of a trauma that really scares you, even though it was 10 years ago, and you think about it, when you do the tapping, when you've called up the file, you've called up the issue into your memory, it calms down that part of the brain that is on alarm, right? That part of the brain that says danger is everywhere. We all have it. We're humans. We can't help it. But of course, danger isn't everywhere. We perceive danger to be in the places that our family taught us or our experiences taught us.
Okay.
So it wasn't so much a belief in EFT as experience after experience, after experience, after workshop, after clients would say, what are you doing? What did you eat and what are you doing? And I haven't eaten sugar. I haven't had sugar cravings and eaten wildly for 2 weeks. What are you doing? Someone saying, I'm no longer afraid to drive a car. I'm no longer worried about my meeting with my boss. You name it, you've done the research yourself to know that it works on anything that is emotionally troubling or challenging that we then avoid or limit our lives because of those thoughts and fears.
One funny question, Carol. Did you find it initially this is a bit weird?
Yes, totally. Oh, I thought it was so strange, but because I started having results, I didn't tell you, the first thing that happened for me is that I got over long-term insomnia.
Oh my God, wow.
My long-term insomnia was such a part of my life, I wasn't working on it. I didn't take anything for it. I didn't work on it psychologically. I just thought, I'm someone with long-term insomnia. Okay. And one day I woke up and I thought, that's strange. Do you know that I think I'm sleeping well? And it's because I reduced my anxiety, it was work anxiety, family anxiety, and I kept bringing it down with the tapping, not on purpose, Nizam. I was tapping with everybody else in my practice. I was tapping on my own issues, but I wasn't tapping on I have insomnia. But I was tapping on my stress. And I was tapping on my client's stress. Okay. And when you do that much tapping, eventually you're going to get some results, even though I didn't target insomnia.
Okay.
But yeah, it was so weird in the beginning. I thought, I don't know what I'm going to do about this.
Now I know the secret behind your energy and beauty, EFT. Like, first of all, is it really? Carol has 22 years experience. Now I got it. Now I know the secret. Okay, so going forward, girls, whoever is watching, please look at Carol here. She is 22 years experience itself, so you can make the difference. Okay, so here comes my next question, Carol. You have developed a program called Yes Code. So first of all, what is it all about? And the existing EFT practitioners, if they add it to their toolkit, how would the results be? Could you please explain about it?
So the Yes Code is all about clarity. And I started developing it as a simple system. And I had an entire coaching program where you could become certified as a Yes Code coach. Okay. And what it's about is clarifying your vision, 3 primary steps. Clarify your vision. Identify and release the blocks to your vision, because not everybody can clarify their vision. That's not true. So you tap to clarify your vision if you can't get clear. Then you tap, identify the blocks. You know how I talk about the yes buts. I'm sure you've seen that. We have an upside and a downside. So let's say your vision is you want to double your income or grow your business. If you ask the client, what's the upside to procrastinating? They'll say, oh my gosh, I'm afraid to be out there. Or if you say, what's the downside of reaching this vision you've been working on? They'll say, then I have to perform, or I'm afraid of success, or I'm afraid someone will criticize me. So you've got to identify in step 2, identify and then work on with the tapping, release those yes buts, those even though I say I really want this end result, I'm scared of it. I don't want it. I have a conflict. And then the final step is find your next yes. Because people get involved, Nizam, in too big of a step, too much, I want to make $1 million, and they're not going step by step. But if you follow your next yes, you're going to get there. But what people do is they say, well, Nizam told me to do this, so I'm going to do it. Well, Carol suggested this, so I'm going to do that. So they never get their own internal yes. You must follow your heart, your gut, your yes in order to get to where you're going. Not what the internet says, not what the marketers say, not what you and I say. You have to. So I lead people to understand that clarity inside so they can take their next step. So one step at a time. And then people say, why didn't you teach me this 20 years ago? Because I didn't know it. So, but for me, it really is about the clarity. I have a lot of noise in my head. I have a lot of yeses, a lot of nos, a lot of maybes. And I needed to develop a way to say, okay, stop, slow down, get still, clarify the vision, because I like a lot of things. I like a lot of sports. I like a lot of people. I like a lot of getting my hands into many, many projects. And I would get overwhelmed. I would say it came out of being overwhelmed and stressed out because I couldn't choose. So I needed to be really clear. So it helps people clarify their vision, identify why they keep getting in their own way, and then very simply, your next yes along the way. So it's been really exciting and inspiring, and watching people use it and watching people go through the whole program that I was doing. I'm not doing much of that anymore, the coaching program. So it's pretty simple, but people say, I get it. I get why you need simplicity. And they also say, I've been following everybody else's advice on the internet, or I've been following my mother's advice, or I've been following my brother's advice, and it's not for them. You have to really be able to be quiet enough, clear enough to hear your own answers.
Got it. And Carol, one honest confession as an EFT practitioner is just tapping helps to calm down, but there is this, when clients come with inner conflicts, like, should I go with this, should I go with that, should I marry this person or not, investment or not. So EFT practitioners, if they add S code to their practice or to their toolkit, would that help to help their clients and produce better results? Do you think so? Because I really feel that, how do I resolve this conflict in a client? So
first thing, part of the program is to have the client identify honestly what their conflict is. So people will come to you and say, oh, of course I want success. Of course I want to build my business.
I want to do this right. I want to do this. I want to do that.
They're not identifying the conflict. So being able to ask, well, what would be the upside if you keep procrastinating? Because, people come to me because they sabotage and they procrastinate and they can't get to where they say they want to go. Well, there's a good reason why they can't get to where they want to go, because they have enough of a conflict in their mind, in their energy system, that says that might be dangerous. What might be dangerous? Success. Why would success be dangerous? Because on my last job, somebody criticized me for being promoted. Oh, okay. So you move through that. So I'll tell you what it does for practitioners. So I mostly have taught practitioners, and then they go teach their clients. The biggest deal is that practitioners get overly involved in a client's life. It's part of the business. Sometimes we can't help it. Practitioners need to be clear and quiet and have their own next yes as well. They can't be thinking, oh, well, Carol does this in EFT, so I should. No, follow your intuition, follow your gut. Where do you think this client needs to go? Where do you think? So it's very, very helpful. Helpful, it changed my life. So it changed my life, and then I'm teaching it to everybody, and I'm writing a book on it, of course, Nizam. So I'm working on that. I'll let you know when that comes out. So Again, if we went back to what the yes code is, the yes code is all about clarity and what's right for you. Each person, each individual person. Because we get very caught up in, well, the internet marketing sensation said to do it this way. And people do it that way and it doesn't work for them because not everything works for everyone in marketing. So you know that. We've all spent some money on some programs that really didn't work that well.
Yes. And Carol, these YouTube titles scare me, like, earn $50,000 per day using EFT, and oh my God. So let us talk from your perspective, your view on law of attraction and combining EFT with it. So please, can you please give some advice? Also share some experience around it.
Great. First, I'm going to tell you something that people got trapped by with law of attraction.
Yes.
They started saying that, so you know how in EFT we focus on the problem, the stress, the anxiety, the worry, or the block. And people would say, oh, law of attraction says you're not allowed to do that. No, that's not what law of attraction said. What law of attraction teachers say is don't wallow in the pain and go over it and over it and over it. And what we do with EFT is we're allowed to accept ourselves. I deeply and completely accept myself with whatever the problem is, and that allows you to move forward. And what was so successful with my abundance book, I mean, I've sold thousands and thousands and thousands of copies, is because I say that abundance is a vibration, not a dollar amount in your bank account. And what people get trapped by is, oh, abundance is about money and all about money, and I've got to just get more money in the bank. No, it's not. Abundance is a feeling. This is the law of attraction part. Abundance is a feeling of optimism, passion, enthusiasm, excitement. You could be excited about anything and raise your vibration. You could be excited about buying a new pair of sneakers. You could be excited about getting the laundry done, right? And you feel lighter, and that's your vibration and your frequency. And that's what I help people with, combining them. You want to get to the higher vibration. Well, EFT will get you to the higher vibration. Then you start using more of the law of attraction specific principles and double, double, double. I mean, it was amazing. I watched my own salary and my own happiness increase. And that's how I was able to help people, because I made a lot of mistakes, Nizam. I made a lot of well, my whole life, of course, but not with EFT so much as just I was barking up the wrong tree a lot. You know that expression, we use that here. I just, followed only the money. Or I grew up in a family that was very stressed out about money, and I determined I'm not going to have that life. I refused to have that life. It was a wonderful life with my family, but the stress over money was really dark. It was painful. And so I had a goal initially of getting more money, and that's okay. But once I added law of attraction and understood that money's not my goal, I wanted freedom. I wanted the vibration of freedom, which money was going to help me. Then I got unhooked from money and got hooked on the vibration and the frequency and the optimism. Law of attraction, your good feelings and gratitude attract more.
Now I got it. So friends, there is a special book written on abundance by Carol Luke. So please have a look in her website. Yeah, Carol, sorry, please.
It's just, I made the mistakes with law of attraction too. I got caught up in different things. And when people come to me and say, yes, but you can't use EFT because then you're focused on the negative. No, we're not. We're not focused on the negative. We're just working on an issue which is in your way. So law of attraction people sometimes deny their emotions so much they're not in reality. Oh no, I can't go there. Oh, I can't have a bad feeling. We live in this world. How are we not going to have some bad feelings?
Yes.
Rational, right?
And always trying to be positive in the name of law of attraction. I have seen them, after a while they are going into very severe depression, not being able to handle their emotions. But combining EFT with law of attraction, and that's amazing experience you have brought in the form of a book, Carol. Thanks for that.
It's been a lot of fun. And the other thing is, remember when they've done the research on the EFT, you can't really measure how powerful it is to say, I deeply and completely love and accept myself.
Yeah.
But when I do live workshops, which I haven't done, of course, because of the pandemic, when I would do live workshops, I would be saying to people, validate your feelings. If you want to become a good counselor, a good coach, a good therapist, let the client validate every awful feeling they've ever had. Validation and honoring our feelings is what gets us further. That's part of the, and then tapping on the acupuncture points, of course, is a massive part of it. But validating and honoring, beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks for clarifying that, Carol. And Carol, lot of books. There are whole science behind, fear of failure. But here is one person whom I admire a lot. Carol Luck has done something on fear of success. So could you please tell what inspired and please tell me about that program. I want to know more about fear of success.
Well, what happened, Nizam, is that people would come to me and they all had fear of failure, but many of them started to show the behavior of having fear of success, which means they would block their success. And when I asked them the questions, what might be the downside of launching your website? What might be the downside of losing the weight and reaching your goal? They would say, because I don't want to be exposed. I fear being a target. I think people will be jealous of me. And I had all that stuff too. So I always had both fear of failure and fear of success. Actually, I had more. So more and more people behaviorally came to me showing that. And I had it. And it was a huge part of the field. People kept focusing on fear of failure when the truth was they put a lid on themselves because they were afraid of reaching their goal, being on stage, writing their book, launching their website, losing the weight, getting married, having a life of abundance. They were honestly afraid of it, even though they kept saying to me and to other counselors and to people at workshops, oh yes, I want success. Of course I want success, because that's what people say. And yes, they do want it, but a big part of them is afraid. So the program is I love that. That is one of my favorites, I have to say. The let yourself shine, right? It's release your fear of success and let yourself shine, because people are afraid of shining. So I go through dozens of exercises, tapping on what might be in your way, what are you afraid of, how to move through it, how to go through each step. And so I love that program. And it helps people say, oh, yeah, people might be jealous. Oh, so what? You think we're going to stop people in our world from being jealous or envious or competitive? Nope. We don't have a tool for that, Nizam. So it helps people say, yeah, I have been a target before. Then you use EFT on when they were a target before, clear that memory, and they go, so what? I want to shine, because if you shine, you help others. If I shine, it helps others. It doesn't help anybody to keep a lid on yourself. It doesn't help anybody in the world for you to play small. So we find out why you want to play small, what's scary about it, why you'd prefer to stay under the radar, and then I help people get out and come up on top. So it's a lot of fun. See, Nizam, all my programs are fun. I don't like the dark, heavy. I mean, we do really intense emotions, but I want people to enjoy their lives. I want people to have a good time.
That to a therapist, definitely, who shifted to a simplest weird thing, obviously will build fun-filled programs, obviously. And Carol, I've seen a lot of business people having this, and of course, I do agree. Pandemic has impacted almost every field. Yet, um, cycles of ups and downs are a very natural thing in the business. Not just in this pandemic. Anytime a business runs on uncertainty, no one can guarantee success and failure. But and this business people go through a lot of emotions, uncertainties, and managing themselves become harder. So could you please tell about your EFT business program?
The EFT business program, I really enjoyed that. And again, Nizam, I have to say, it came from making some mistakes, right? It came from my doing things that weren't useful. And I use it with law of attraction so that So it's called Business Abundance Now,
Yeah.
where I have 15 keys to business success. And for instance, one of them is loving the products you're producing. Because if you don't love your own product, why would you market it and try to sell it? Because
Yeah.
people are always trying to sell something. So I talk about service and really being in service rather than just selling. People, you can smell it when people are just selling, right? And so I have these 15 keys, how to make your business really abundant. And of course, it's all about the energy of the person and the energy of the product and your feeling of optimism and your feeling of, I'm doing something good for people. I'm not just trying to make a buck. So that's another fun program, really good.
The reason, Carol, the reason I'm interviewing about all the products is that different category of people we come across in day-to-day life, and they're not aware of like, where do I get help, what do I do. They like keep on searching for this solution, that solution. So I thought, let me people become aware of that help is already existing, they have some resources, they can get benefited. And Carol, what I funnily called is vitamin M, which is money blockage. So you have an exclusive program on money. So please tell about it. It could be any profession, but money matters for us all. So
So it's called the energy of money. And what I have people do is tap on and release their blocks to receiving money. Their blocks, let's say they have a mortgage payment that really annoys them. I have them put the mortgage bill on the table and tap on it, look at it and tap as a prop. So money is energy. And it's an energy of exchange. But what people get trapped by again is like, no, I have to have a big enough pile in the bank so I feel secure. Money's not secure if you're insecure, right? So I help people release the blocks that are in their way with the money they have, with the money they want to receive, and receiving in general. Because if we have a negative view about a bill or paying taxes, that's a problem too, right? It's not, of course, in our society, money comes in and money goes out. If you're too angry about having to pay something, a monthly bill, that's going to affect your energy around the topic of money. So again, I try to help people really see it not as money, right? But as energy, as exchange, as, oh, how could I be open to receiving more money and being in the energy of money rather than this costs too much. One time someone wrote an email to somebody else and they forwarded it to me. And the person said, I'm not coughing up, you know that expression? I'm not going to cough up $21 for the book or something. And I said, if that's their attitude, that I'm not going to cough up 21 bucks for an Attracting Abundance book or whatever it was at that time, $24. Forget it. They said, Carol, can't you give them a reduced fee? I said, no, because that person doesn't need a reduced fee. That person has an attitude and an energy block around money. If 24 bucks is too much for a book, all right, then I'm not then I'm not your teacher.
yes.
So it's getting out of that competitive I do plenty of reduced fee things. I have products that, very little money. So it's not about that. It's not about the dollar amount.
Attitude.
It's not about the dollar amount. It's about your vibration and your attitude and how you get the flow going in your life. It's about generosity too.
Yes. Thank you. And Carol, I don't know how you got this intuition. You have catered almost all the human needs and created wonderful products. And Carol, like, should I do social media marketing? Should I venture into business? Should I hire someone? Or if someone is into business, if someone is a coach, should I learn this? Should I learn that? What do I do? If someone is teacher, what all do I need? There is so much of overwhelming. And how to move from overwhelming to clarity. You also have a product now. So please tell about this. How does that product help?
Yeah,
program.
Overwhelm, and I have a new, within a month, I'm going to have a little freebie product about that too. So overwhelm is because you're not taking the time to get clear about what's right for you. You're reading incoming 20 emails, 20 webinars, 40 suggestions, and you're not getting clear. So if someone says you have to do Facebook, I hate Facebook. I'm a terrible Facebook person, but I'm going to hire somebody who's going to, I've hired someone who does some of that for me. Again, it's about the clarity, but how are you going to get clarity unless you quiet down the noise? Well, how do you quiet down the noise? You tap for stress relief. You tap for anxiety. You tap for fear of making a mistake. People instantly want to go do something. Stop doing something and take care of yourself, right? No, somebody wants to go do something and they want to buy something and don't even buy my products. I don't need you to buy anything. Do something first. Tap on yourself. Reduce your fear. Reduce your stress. Get calm and say, oh, that's the answer. That's the direction I want to go. Oh, but everybody else says I shouldn't. I don't know what to tell you. I've been, Nizam, in my business and our world here, I've done a lot of things that people said bad ideas, but that's how I became successful, is not listening to everybody else and not following everybody else and what they were doing.
Excellent.
Right?
Thank you. And weight loss, oh my God, that itself is a huge thing where EFT and weight loss, could you please tell about that?
It's so perfect because, so I also lost quite a lot of weight with using EFT and then I've kept it off. So the difference is losing it. People say I've lost it 10 times. All we care about is keeping it off. And weight loss is an issue that people get tripped up on it because they have cravings they can't control, because they have feelings that they don't want to feel. So they use food, right? And then they get bored and relapse, or frustrated and relapse when the weight doesn't come off. The most important thing is that stress and emotions like guilt and hurt and betrayal and anger, they trigger cravings. Then you feel out of control and then you eat something that you promised you wouldn't eat. Also, you need to ask the questions, upside, downside. What would be the upside of sabotaging yourself? Ooh, upside. What would be the downside if you don't reach your goal? Well, then I don't have to give up anything and I don't have to feel deprived. Good, now we have a tackleable issue. I feel deprived, right? So it's a huge field, and I'm doing another product on it, but it's really, really powerful because once you reduce your stress enough, not just daily stress, we have daily stress, we have stress from the past, and we have stress from the future. Once we release that enough, our old habits change. We don't need to reach for a bag of chips or a bag of cookies. It's like, you can handle it. But when you don't feel you can handle it, it's like a kid having a meltdown on the street, right? They can't handle their feelings. The feelings are too big. Well, adults don't cry on the street. They don't have a temper tantrum. Adults go eat. Adults drink. Adults smoke, right? So it's a very, very effective. It is incredibly effective. So I love that. I love that too. And as I say, I worked on it myself up and down and up and down. And then I finally, I think it was 2014, I lost the 25 pounds. I've kept 20 off. I'm fine. I do great. Because I don't use food the same way. I don't use food the same way.
Wow. Excellent.
My family, everybody in my family uses food, alcohol, or cigarettes. So I was a sitting duck to have a weight problem or an alcohol problem, and I don't drink, and I gave up smoking, so food became my thing. Now I don't do that either. So because I use tapping when I feel like the feelings are up here. I use tapping every day. I make sure every single day, even if I've done a 3-day workshop and I've been tapping all the time, I do my own personal tapping to take care of myself every single day.
So thanks for sharing your story. Never knew this. Now, friends, it's being recorded, so you have this story captured. So you walk the talk, and then that's the amazing program. Thank you. And Carol, EFT and pain, could you please tell about it?
Okay, so this was interesting. I loved this. I kind of stumbled into this, but pain relief, I did this in a bunch of workshops too. Pain comes from true structural damage, right? Or an accident. And then we have the tension, the emotional attention we attach to pain. We feel uptight, right? If you hurt something, you feel uptight about it because it bothers you and it's stressful. So what we've done with the pain, again, we think of the pain, we call up the issue, tap on it, and it relaxes all your brain and your body. And when you're relaxed, it's better. The other thing about tapping, of course, is we're moving electrical energy between and among all your organs through the meridians, right? That's bringing blood, oxygen, and electrical energy to all parts of your body. Sometimes pain is caused by constriction, by oxygen and blood and electricity not getting to all the parts of the body. So I've seen true miracles, but because I'm not a doctor, I'm not a medical doctor, I have to say to the people, I use EFT for tapping on the emotional aspects of pain. Are you willing to do that? And when they say yes, then I have a traditional psychotherapy client, no problem. I can't work on the pain per se, and the pain goes away anyway.
Excellent.
The most effective way to use tapping for pain is to tap on emotions. So to say to someone, you have back pain. Oh, when did it start? Oh, what do you think it's caused by? What do you mean? I hurt my back with heavy thoughts. Okay. But what else do you think it's caused by? Anger, hurt, frustration, guilt? What other emotion might be in your back? What do you think is there? So it's what when somebody gets out of pain is them. I do think the trauma. I did the veterans DVD with Gary. The trauma relief is amazing, life-changing, utterly life-changing to work with people who've had outrageous trauma, because they change it. They change it. They live their lives. They release the trauma out of their nervous system, because trauma gets blocked in the nervous system.
Thank you. Carol, mind is cluttered. Like, oh my God, like house is cluttered, mind is cluttered. So what inspired you to create a specific program on decluttering?
Yes, so that's Rick and I have that program that is so successful. So I've had a clutter I have had a clutter problem also.
Oh, you yourself had, okay.
But now look behind me. That is not clutter. You should have seen what this used to look like years ago when I had a real clutter problem. So it came from that, and helping people understand that clutter is not about stuff. It looks like it's about your stuff. Your car is full of stuff. Your office is full of stuff. It's about your emotions of not wanting to let go and of the meaning. So you have to find out, what is the meaning of that pile of papers over there? Oh, I don't want to get rid of it. What's the meaning of keeping the special thing that your aunt and uncle left you? It's not worth anything. And what's the meaning of having boxes and boxes and boxes full of stuff in your basement? What's the meaning? Oh, if I let go of it, that it represents love to me. Oh, interesting. So we tap on all the reasons you're holding on and all the fears that keep you from letting go of it. You don't need 4,000 boxes full of old stuff from your parents and grandparents in the basement. You don't need it. It's not useful. It's not valuable. You don't need 27 sweaters, right? So it's not about need. It's never about need. It's about the emotion. So whether it's stress, whether it's anxiety, whether it means love to you, whatever it is, if you're afraid to let go of it, if you're afraid to release it because you feel scared or deprived or empty, a lot of work on emptiness there. It's a fabulous program. We have had so much fun. That's like one of the top sellers with the Abundance book. It's like, whoa, out of everything, people really have a serious problem, but they have to do the work.
Yes.
The tapping on the emotions, like with anything, same with the weight loss, right? You got to do it. That.
Yes. And Carol, could you please share some of your success stories with the clients which you remember most about money, or how they removed the mental blockage, and how it resulted in the abundance.
Well, what's really funny is it always is a surprise. So it's not like, oh, they changed, they used EFT on their fears and then their boss gives them a raise. It's not so linear.
Yeah.
One time, somebody came back to a workshop and she said, I have increased my income and I don't know how, by 25%, she said.
Oh.
And she was like, still surprised, right, that it happened. But obviously, and she couldn't pinpoint which thing we tapped on that did that for her. I was a success case at the beginning, which is why I wrote the book. I just cleared I worked on everything, even things that I didn't think were my blocks, cleared them. And I went up, I doubled my salary, tripled, quadrupled, and then it went off the charts, right? So another person, they cleared their fear, and as a result, they started getting checks, and they said, I don't know what the time is. It's totally strange, money coming in. So when you clear your blocks, you also get opportunities. I want people to focus on this. It's not just about the cash. You get opportunities that become channels of money. So someone will say, I tapped through the abundance book and I got a pretty special opportunity, which then of course sent money my way. Right? So when you open up those blocks, then you get opportunities that bring you the money. One time, one story, Nizam, that I loved was I was on the phone with someone doing a session, and he was trying to sell, it was either an apartment or a restaurant. I can't remember. And he said his marriage was on the line, his financial health was on the line, and he was in big trouble. And as we're tapping on his anxiety about money and, oh, there's not enough, and his scarcity issues, I'm not kidding. He got a phone call, had to interrupt us, and he got an offer on the building, and it went through and it sold. He said, okay, I get it now. I mean, wow. Market for a couple of years, which is why he was in so much trouble. And it was one of those things where, oh, I truly get energy. I truly understand the meaning of energy now, and why it's not just tapping about money, but it's about your energy and what you put out, what you exude around money, around wealth, around scarcity. People are into scarcity, Nizam, and that's what blocks them. So that was one of my favorites, I have to say.
Thank you very much, Carol. Now I'm running short of words. Like, oh my God, what all? There's so many to ask. Okay, and Carol, one more question about relationships. In general, how people think is like, I'm not good enough. I don't deserve a better relationship. This is all in my fate, blah, blah, blah. It goes on. So any suggestions about application of EFT to build relationships?
Yes. So two very good questions. Two main things with that. If you feel you only deserve someone who doesn't care about you very much, you'll end up with an alcoholic, or you'll end up with someone who cheats on you, or you'll end up with someone who doesn't value a relationship. So it really is about, how do you feel about yourself first? So people want to work on with EFT on relationships so they can go find a partner. Work on yourself so you raise the vibration about being a better partner, right? And what does that mean? You have to value yourself. So when someone treats you poorly, you think, oh, he's so cool. You think, well, then he's not for me because I deserve better. So people get caught in the wrong place there. Then you must calm yourself down enough so that in your relationships, when you have a fight, you know how to listen, you know how to calm down, you know how not to react with that fight or flight response from the brain. So start with yourself and feeling good enough, understand where that came from, your father, your mother, your family, where does that come from? Until you feel, I deserve a really good person. And sometimes people will say, I deserve somebody really good. And I say, well, why did you marry a cocaine addict who's never home? Well, he loves me. No, well, he might love you, but he loves his addiction more, right? Why do you marry a workaholic? Why do you marry someone that is rude? Why would you do that? Because you don't believe you deserve better. So the deserving, you said it, the deserving and worthiness issues come first, then work on your capacity to handle when someone disagrees with you, when you have a big fight. Because what happens in a big fight is, both parties go into their primitive brain, right, and get traumatized, and you have an enormous fight. And sometimes the fights aren't recoverable, or you get into a negative pattern. So build the relationship with yourself first, worthiness, good enough, why you don't think you're good enough, and then work on relationships in general. How do you handle it when your boss gives you criticism? How do you handle it when the teenager is, getting in trouble in school? How do you handle your own reactions and your own communication?
Thank you. And Carol, one last question. I know I'm asking because this is the opportunity where master is right in front of me. And Carol, this could be financial patterns, this could be business, this could be relationship, anything. There is a series of patterns that repeat in a person's life, like attracting negative people or attracting negative business opportunities. What is that common element which gives rise to repeat the pattern, and some suggestions on breaking the pattern?
Let me give you an example. I think how I would answer that is their comfort zone of how successful they could be. So it's not that they attract a negative business opportunity. It's that when the negative business opportunity comes their way, they don't trust their gut. We're back to the yes code. They don't trust their gut that says, this guy did something a little shady and I don't want to go into business with him. They go, oh no, this is a great opportunity and I should take it because it's the last opportunity, which is back into scarcity. So if you don't trust yourself and you don't trust your gut and you don't feel good enough, you will sign on the dotted line with a partner, with a business person, with any deal anywhere. That's not good for you because you're not respectful enough of yourself to say, that guy said the meeting was at 2 and he showed up at 3:15, but I'm going to go forward anyway. Well, that's basic respect. You don't do that. But if you don't feel you're good enough and you think that's the last opportunity, you're going to say, oh, that's okay. He didn't mean it. That's okay. The traffic was bad. We got to start with the basics. So sabotaging ourselves means we only feel we deserve up to here. But when you understand that everybody deserves success, everybody is equal in that way, then you say, well, I deserve up to here. Why not? So do you. I want it for you. I want it for me. It's not about scarcity. So I've had a client who attracted 3 men in a row, exactly the same, different name, different hair color. It doesn't matter, right? The pattern was the same because she wouldn't get to how her father treated her mother and how her father treated her, which was disrespectfully. So she thought disrespect was normal, right? She thought, oh, that's how men are. It's not how men are. It's how disrespectful men are. Okay? So she needed to clear that. And then the people who came into her life were totally different. I had an actress client. When she cleared her fears of not being good enough and, oh, everybody else has talent. And when she cleared all of that, she started getting parts on paid TV shows instead of having to do the free downtown acting in New York City, right? She started getting real parts that were paid by her agent because she cleared her fears. Her talent didn't change. She was the same person. So I hope those examples help in that way.
Yes, yes. Thank you very much, Carol. It was amazing. Like so many insights. I'm feeling very happy. Still couldn't believe that I got this opportunity. I'm very happy, and I'm sure whoever is watching this has got good insights about EFT and Carol's programs and journey. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nizam. I have an idea. I'm going to send you a link where if they sign up, they get a free tapping bonus on how to do tapping for gratitude, and then they'll be on my newsletter. And they can go back and see all the archives and tap on different topics. So if that would be useful, I'll send that to you.
Sure, Carol. Thank you very much. It will be
wonderful meeting you and being with you.
Nice meeting you too. Thank you very much.